Okay, term 5, lesson 3. It's unit 4.2 on length, mass and capacity. Remember task for you to practice multiplying and dividing by 10, 100 and 1,000. Remember to press pause on the video and then press play when you're ready to go through the answers. Okay, let's have another look at the answers. Try and write a bit more clearly today. 7 times 10, I write my 7 and I'm multiplying by 10, it's got 1 0, and so I'm putting my 0 there. 7 times 10 equals 70. 7 times 100, I'm putting my 7, I've got 2 zeros that I'm multiplying by, so I'm going to add my 2 zeros. 7 times 100 is 700. This time I'm dividing, so I'm going to make a smaller number. I'm dividing by 10, so I'm going to lose this digit here, and I'm just going to be left with 8 on its own. I'm dividing by 10 again, 1 0, I'm going to lose that 1 0, and my answer will be 80. $230 times 10, I'm multiplying, so I'm going to have a bigger number. So I've got 230. I'm multiplying by 10, that's got 1 0, so I'm going to add 1 0. 23 times 100, I'm going to write my 23. 23 times 100 will give me 2300 or 2,300. 230 times 100, write down my 230. I'm multiplying by 100, that has 2 zeros. So I've got 230, 100 if you like, or 23,000. 18 times 1,000, I'm going to have my 18. I'm multiplying, so I'm making it bigger. I've got 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. So I've got 18,000. 64,000 divide by 1,000. Divide, so I'm going to end up with a smaller number. I'm dividing by 1,000. That has 3 zeros. So I'm going to lose 1, 2, 3 zeros. And I'm going to end up with just 64. Write these units in length of order. Smallest first. I've got meters, centimeters, kilometers, millimeters. You should be familiar with centimeters and millimeters. They're on your ruler. And the smaller of the two is the milli. Thousandths and cent is 100. So milli is the smallest one. So millimeter will be the first in your list because we're starting from the smallest. And second is the other measurement on your ruler. It's the centimeter. Okay, there's 10 millimeters to 1 centimeter. Excuse me. There's 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So the meter will be third. And there's 1,000 meters in a kilometer. So the kilometer is fourth on your list. Okay? Either tick those or change them if you've got errors. And then we'll move to the next slide. Okay, now I need you to pause the video so that you can make a table here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 columns. You need to have this heading row, which is tens of thousands, thousands, hundreds, tens, ones, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, and underneath you need to have space for 12 answers. We've got 12 questions to write in here. Okay, pause the video while you're making your table and then resume and we can fill the table in. Right, okay. Our first number here is 4.521. I'm just going to write it up here because I haven't got space for very many on my little table. So our start number is 4.521. Now we're going to multiply by 100. Now I know before when we did our remember task, I said, oh, we're multiplying by 10, so we just put that 0 on the end. But it doesn't actually quite work like that, not when we're doing decimals. So we need to know what actually happens to these digits when we're multiplying or dividing. When we multiply by 10, we're making a bigger number because we're multiplying, and we're moving the digits one place over on our value table by one place. There's 1 0 and a 10, so we're going to move one place. So that 4 will move into here. This 5 will move into here. The decimal just stays as a decimal, it's just there. The 2 will move up one place. The 1 will move up one place. So 4.521 multiplied by 10 is 45.21. Anytime you want to press pause so you can catch up with this table, do so and then just carry on playing. I'm just going to keep going for the time being. So our original number, 4.521, we're now multiplying by 100. There's 2 zeros. We're going to move 2 places to the left because we're making the number bigger. 1, 2. So the 4 is now going to be over here in the hundreds column. The rest of the digits are just going to stay in the same order, but they've just moved along one. So the 5 is going to go there, the 2 is going to go there, and the 1 is going to move up to the tenths column. The digits haven't changed at all. They've not moved around at all in order. They are just moving up the place value table. 4521, 4521, 4521. Nothing's changed. Now when we multiply by 1,000, there's 3 zeros. We're going to move 3 places. Here's the 4. 1, 2, 3. So the 4 is going to go there. The rest of the numbers just follow on. Move up another one from there, one from there, and one from there. Now this time, because I've now got a whole number, I haven't got anything in the fraction part, so I don't need to put the decimal or the little bit that comes after it. So for this section, I've got 23.67. I've just realised actually I'm going out of order, aren't I? But never mind, I'm just doing the same number in one chunk. Okay, now I'm going to do mine up here, but you do yours for, follow down on your table. So we're starting with 23.67. I'm multiplying by 10, so I'm going to have a bigger number. I'm moving to the left with the digits because I'm getting a bigger number. So the 2 that's now in the tens column will move over to the hundreds column. The 3 and the 1s will move up to the tens. 6 that's in the tenths column now will move up to the 1s. The decimal stays lined up. And the 700ths move up to the tenths. Okay, the next one I'm going to multiply by 100. 2 zeros, so I'm going to move up 2 places. Here's my original, 1, 2. Then the rest of the digits just follow on as they were before. Now again, I don't need to bother with the decimals because the 7 has now come up into the ones. It's a whole number. I'm going to multiply by 1,000. That's 3 zeros, so I'm going to move 3 places. 1, 2, 3. My 2 will be there. My 3 will come after it. My 6. My 7. Now, if I left it like this, it's actually showing the same number as that, isn't it? 2 to 4 digits, 2, 3, 6, 7, 2, 3, 6, 7. But they're not the same value because this one was 23.67 times 100, but this one is 23.67 times 1,000. This ones column is vacant, there's nothing there. I need to fill that space with a 0 to show that I have now multiplied by 1,000. I can't leave the ones vacant. You fill it up with a 0. Okay, I'm just going to do a line down there so that we can now do our dividing ones. 1,308. 1,308. Now, because I'm dividing, I'm going to end up with a smaller number. I'm going to move this time to the right. I'm going to make a smaller number. So my 1, I'm dividing by 10, 1 0, so 1 place. My 1 will move over here. My 3, my 0. And now because I'm going to end up with a fraction, because I've got to move that 8 over, I need to put my decimal point, and my 8 goes over on that side. Now I'm going to divide by 100, 2 zeros, so I'm going to move 2 places. 1, 2, so my 1's going to be in this column, the 10s. My 3 is going to move over to the 1s. I need to put my decimal lined up. The 0 is going to move over 1 place. The 8 is going to move over 1 place. Now I'm doing the same number, divide by 1,000. 3 zeros, 3 places. Here's our original, 1, 2, 3. The 1 is now going to be in the ones column. My decimal stays lined up. 3 comes over here, the 0 here, and the 8 over here. Okay, the same order of digits, 1308, 1308, 1308, 1308. They've just moved in the place value table. So last one, 87. I'm going to divide by 10. I'm going to move the digits 1 place that way. 8 goes over into the ones. Add my decimal. The 7 goes over into the tenths. 870 divide by 100. Right, I need to rewrite this one. Okay, 870. And I'm going to divide by 100. 2 zeros, so 2 places. Here's my 8, 1, 2. It's going to go here. Oh, I need to add my decimal now. The 7, 1, 2 places. The 0, 1, 2 places. But because now it's got no value over here, a 0, I don't actually need to put it. I can just leave my answer like that. 870 divided by 100 is 8.7. Now, if I have 870 divided by 1,000, I'm just going to look at my original. 3 zeros, 3 places. Here's my 8. 1, 2, 3. My 8 is going to be in the tenths column. Then I can put my 7, move that over. Again, I don't need the 0 here. It has no value, no relevance to the number here. But that just looks like 87 as a whole number. Remember, I need to keep my decimal lined up, and to show that I've got no ones, I need to put a 0 in there. Okay? That value, that 0 does have a value. It's saying that we've got no ones, and this is a fraction part. Okay, make sure you've got all those written in your table. You can press pause to catch up, and then press play when you're ready to carry on. Right, copy and complete to describe how the digits move. There's a table over here to help you, to remind you. Have a go. Write down 5a times 10. You move one place to the, you have to fill in left or right. B, when you multiply by 100, how many places to the left it's telling you. Okay, press pause on the video, have a go at that one, and then we'll just check out the answers. Okay, those of you that were quick with your eyes saw that it did flash up a moment ago. Here's the answers. So when we're multiplying by 10, we move one place to the left. We're making it a bigger number. Here is an example. We're multiplying, we're making a bigger number, so we move one place to the left. So if we multiply by 100, we move 2 places to the left. 2 zeros, 2 places. Again, multiplying by 1,000, there's 3 zeros, so we're going to move 3 places. You just need to remember your left and your right. To the left, we're going to end up with a bigger number. When we divide, we want a smaller number, so we're going to move to the right. Divide by 10, 1 0, 1 place. Divide by 100, 2 zeros, 2 places. Divide by 1,000, 3 zeros, so you're going to move 3 places to the right. Okay, now have a go at these on your own. Press pause. Do all 8 questions, and then press play when you're ready to go through the answers. Okay, let's have a look at the answers. Mark your work, and if you made any errors, just correct them. Okay, I've got a table here, so it's just going to help me. I've got 5.6 times 10. Okay, so my 5.6 would be here. I'm multiplying by 10, so I'm going to move one place over here to the left. So I'm going to end up with 56. 4.55, so it'd be 4. I might just write it little here so you can see what's happening. 4.55. Go back and put that 5.6 in there. Okay, so we can see we've moved one place over because we multiplied by 10. This time we're multiplying by 100. So 2 places, 1, 2. The 4 is going to go here. 1, 2. 1, 2. I haven't got any decimals, so I can just leave it as 455. 12.02. So 12, whoop, got it right now. 12.02. Now I'm multiplying by 1,000. 3 zeros, so we're going to move 3 places. Here's my 1, 1, 2, 3. So my 1's going to go here. 1, 2, 3 for the 2. 0, 1, 2, 3. The 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, remember now we've got a blank space here. We'll use that 0 to hold that place. Again, nothing in the decimals. 0.4 times 100. So I've got 0.4. I'm multiplying by 100. There's 2 zeros, so I'm going to move 2 places to the left. 1, 2. Now, I'm not going to write a 0 in here, and I'll just show you in a minute. I'm just going to move the 4 first. 2 places. 1, 2. 4 places. I've got no other digits to move on, so I need to fill up this space with a 0 to hold that place. Now my 4's moved over 2 places. This 0 that we had in the first place here, it doesn't have any value there. It's not changing the number if I put a 0 there, so I don't need to write it down. This is the first digit that's of value, the 4 that is now in the tens column. 543, so I've got 5, 4, 3. Now I'm dividing this time by 100. 2 zeros, so I'm going to move 2 places to the right. I'm making a smaller number because I'm dividing. So the 5 is going to go 1, 2. It's going to be here. The 4, 1, 2 will be here. The 3, 1, 2 is going to go here. So 543 divided by 100 is 5.43. I've got 2,750. So I'm just going to write it little here. 2,750. I'm dividing by 1,000, which is 3 zeros, so I'm going to move 3 places. So my 2, 1, 2, 3 is going to be here. 7 is going to move over here. The digits don't change their order, just their place. Now this 0, 1, 2, 3, it doesn't have any value there. It's not changing the fact that it's 2.75. 2.750 is exactly the same number, but I don't need that 0 on the end. So I'm not going to write it in. 20.4. So I've got 20.4. I'm dividing by 10, which has 1 0, so I'm going to move 1 place. So my 2 is going to move 1 place to the right. My 0, I do need this 0 because I've got another digit to follow it. 4. Okay. So it's only zeros that are on this end or in front here that don't have any value or change the number. They're the ones that you don't need. Last one is 360. And I'm dividing by 1,000, 3 zeros, so I'm going to move 3 places. 1, 2, 3. So my 3 goes here. My 6 goes here. My 0 would go there, but I don't need it, do I? However, because these are 2 decimal numbers, I do need to put a 0 in here to show that there's no whole number. Okay, so 360 divided by 1,000 is 0.36. Okay, make any corrections that you need to, and we'll move on to the next slide. Okay, a couple of problems for you just to try. I'm not going to give you any clues right now. I just would like you to have a go. So press pause, read the questions carefully, have a go, and then we'll look at the answers. Right, okay, let's have a look what we've got. We've got a problem. Sarah multiplies a decimal by 100. So she's multiplying by 100. I'm just going to write this down, what she's told me. And she gets an answer of 31. Okay, we need to work out what goes in front of that multiply. Sarah multiplies the decimal by 100. Her answer is 31. We've got to find out what goes here. Now, the inverse, or the opposite, if you like, of multiplying is dividing. So if we divide 31 by 100, we'll get what goes here. So 31 divided by 100. So we're moving two places, aren't we? Now, if we're dividing, we're moving over here. So I'm just going to write it little under here just to help me. The one move over here. So if that was my decimal point there, I need to put a decimal point there and put a 0 in front. Let's just check. I've moved 100. I'm going to do by 100, which is 2 zeros. So I'm moving two places. So I've gone from here, 1, 2. From here, 1, 2, 0.31. Now, if I multiplied that by 100, I'd be moving 2 to the left. So that would go 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, that's my calculation. I would have 0.31 times 100 equals 31. That would be the calculation, okay? I can draw that in. Okay, there's my weirdly shaped box around it. You can be much neater than I am with your pencil and ruler. It's a little bit hard trying to draw with the mouse. So this problem solving here, Philip divides a number by 1,000. His answer is 4.2. Write down his calculation. Right, so he's going to divide a number. So divide by 1,000. And his answer is 4.2. So the mystery is, what's this number going to be in the front here? Right, a little bit like this first one, we're going to do the reverse of what we did do to start with. So this was multiplied by 100. So to get this first number, the mystery, we did the opposite, the inverse operation. We divided our answer by 100. So with this one, we've got divide. So the inverse of divide is multiply. So we're going to multiply this number by 1,000 to find out what this number is going to be here. Now I'm going to write it in a little bit of a space here, so I've got some space to move. So we've got 4.2. We're multiplying by 1,000, so I'm going to 1, 2, 3 places. I might draw some columns here to help me. Still going to have that decimal there. Now I'm doing 1,000, so that's 3 places. So 4 is going to go 1, 2, 3. The 2 is going to go 1, 2, 3. Now I must remember my decimals here. I've got 2 blank columns here that I need to put zeros in. So 4,200. I'm just going to check that if I do 4,200 divide by 1,000, I do end up with 4.2. So the 4, oops, oh, I've lost it. Here it is up here anyway. Oh dear, it's going mad now. Right, I think that's the number I had written down, wasn't it? 4,200. Divide by 1,000. I'm sorry about that flicking around. And that will equal 4.2, which was in the question. Okay, 4.2. So if I divide by 1,000, that 4,200, I'm just going to write it in here. It's going to move over 3 places. 1, 2, 3. The 4 is going to go there. The 2, 1, 2, 3. The 2 is going to go there, which is what the answer was that Philip got. Okay, so have a go at these on your own. there's a little hint up there for 9a. 1 centimetre, you multiply by 10 to turn it to millimetres. If you have millimetres, you divide by 10 to convert to centimetres. Okay, press pause on the video and then press play when you're ready for the answers. Right, let's have a little look at the answers. I'll stay with red. Okay, so 6 times 10 equals 60 millimetres. Remember I said there's 10 millimetres in 1 centimetre. So if we want to convert the centimetres to millimetres, we need to multiply by 10. So here's your answer here that you would have had in that box. And then it's easy to do your 6 times 10. You did that with your starter. So again, now we're doing metres to centimetres. Oh, why does it keep moving? Okay, so metres to centimetres, there's 100 centimetres in a metre. So to change your metres to centimetres, we need to multiply by 100 to make 800. So now we're doing kilometres to metres. You have to look what we're measuring from and to. There's 1,000 metres in a kilometre, so we need to multiply by 1,000. Centimetres to metres. There's 100 centimetres to 1 metre, so we're going to divide by 100. So 400 centimetres divide by 100 gives you 4 metres. 10 millimetres to each centimetre. So if we divide by 10, we will turn our millimetres to centimetres. Metres to kilometres. There's 1,000 metres in every kilometre, so we need to divide this by 1,000 to change 25,000 metres into 25 kilometres. Right, do you multiply or divide when converting? So centimetres to millimetres, we're going to multiply by 10. Metres to centimetres, we're going to multiply by 100. Kilometres to metres, we're going to multiply by 1,000. You don't need to write the numbers in. It wasn't asked in the question, but that's what it would be. So D, millimetres, we're going to convert to a bigger unit, centimetres, so we divide. Centimetres to metres, we're going to divide by 100. And metres to kilometres, there's 1,000 in each kilometre, so we're going to divide by 1,000. Question 11, for each pair of lengths, work out which is shorter. So here you have to kind of work out, I don't know if I'm on pen already. We need to convert so they're the same units. So 400 centimetres, I could convert this to be 500 centimetres. And compare. So it says which is shorter. So 400 is shorter than 500. If you wanted to keep it as metres, you could just divide this one by 100 and change that to 4 metres. As long as you are comparing the same unit. So you can either compare 5 metres and 4 metres or 400 metres and 500 centimetres. It doesn't matter which way round, as long as they're the same unit. Okay? So 300 millimetres and 15 centimetres. So if I multiplied this by 10, I would get it into millimetres. So that's 150 millimetres. So 150 millimetres is shorter than 300 millimetres, so 15 centimetres is shorter. If I wanted to convert this way round to millimetres, I would multiply that by 10. I would multiply this Oh, I want to change that to centimetres. Divide this by 10, so that would be 30. Sorry, I get a little bit confused there. And that's into centimetres now. So it's either 30 centimetres versus 15 centimetres or 300 millimetres versus 150 millimetres. This side was shorter, whichever way you look at it. So the last one, this is in metres in kilometres. So if I multiply this by 1,000, I change this to metres. Or if I divide this by 1,000, I can convert it to kilometres. So now you can compare, because you've got 6 kilometres or 8 kilometres, or 6,000 metres and 8,000 metres. So the 6 is shorter. Okay? And let's just see what's on. I think it's the last slide. Okay, so if you're feeling confident, have a go at this question here. Press pause while you're doing it, and the answers will be on the next slide in a moment. Okay, so if you'd like to just mark your answers, and that will be the end of the lesson today. Okay, thank you for watching and listening, and I'll see you in the next lesson.